Okay, just doing a really quick video about stuff that's going on Twitter. It's lit. It all started with this video, which I think was a TikTok video. I found it in a Discord server and I shared it on my Facebook and Twitter. What?
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 It's like, why are you like
Okay.
being like, oh, I think I just heard this thing and it like went all over.
I don't know. I'm just saying I know about this video, but I'm gonna play it and then we'll get into like the sort of outcome of it. So here we go.
Guys, I went on a date this week and I felt the feminism leaving my body. I live on the east side of LA, and if you don't know what that means, it's sort of like the artsier part of LA, you know? It's people say it's like Brooklyn and New York. Like, so I go on dates with a lot of men and women who, you know, live over here. There's always a negotiation about who pays, and that's great. I like to pay for people, all that. But what I will say is that I sort of fell into going on a date with the most guy's guy I've ever been on a date with. And he's from West, you know, Santa Monica. He's a bro, right? A guy's guy is usually not my type. Like, I cannot remember the last time that I went on a date with like a straight bro, you know what I'm saying? But it befell me. It befell me in an organic fashion. So I'm on this date with this guy, and the thing about a guy's guy is he's putting his card down. He's paying for everything. And I really it sort of activated something feral in me. I'm not gonna lie. We went to like another bar and he was gonna go to the bathroom. So I was getting prepared to pay for our drinks because he's been paying all night. Of course I'm gonna pay for the next round. But as he's going to leave for the bathroom, he turns to me and he hands me his credit card. And he goes, "Here's my card. Get us whatever." It might be time for me to get away from all these, you know, liberal snowflakes on the east side.
So anyway, yeah. So a woman, you know, meets a regular dude, realizes that masculinity is attractive. Film at 11. It's not surprising, but and I didn't really think anything of it, but then it kind of blew up. Matt Walsh, right from the Daily, was he the first person to respond to it? I think he was.
I think he was the first one to point out that this video, while it like, you know, might have a positive bit in it, like she's saying that the feminism literally left her body.
Yeah.
And that might be good news for, I don't know, culture, I guess. I don't know.
It's like
but because
a bit of a white pill, but
he has some negative things to say about it.
Right. And so in this,
I think that maybe he was the first one
to bring in the negative, his grievances. So yeah, he basically quote tweeted or what do they call it? Reposted, quote posted, I don't know. This, and he said she's impressed that the guy paid, which is fine. Women are naturally attracted to providers, but if she likes this aspect of traditional masculinity, she has to accept the rest of it and be willing to play her part and be traditionally feminine. That's where things usually break down for feminists, of course, right? Stuff that we've been talking about for years. And he follows up and says, you like a man who pays, of course you do. But are you willing to drop the feminist girl boss bullshit and be the kind of woman that the man who pays actually wants? That's the question. And that would have been, you know, fine. This is like stuff that we've been talking about for, you know, more than 10 years. But then he got in trouble, right? With Megyn Kelly. I said that a woman should not expect a man to play the traditional masculine role of paying for meals if the woman is not willing to play the traditional feminine role herself. She should not pick and choose the one aspect of gender roles where she gets free stuff. This statement is being treated as controversial and outrageous, even by some on the right, which he gives a capital R to, which shows why many men have given up hope in our culture. What are they supposed to do? Any suggestion that women also have responsibilities in a relationship is greeted with abject horror. They're supposed to simply accept the double standard and submit to it without complaint. It's insane. It's evil. He actually calls it evil. I guess before we get into that, what do you think about this? Do you have any thoughts on it? Do you agree?
I love it.
Yeah, right? Because we were just talking about, you know, it's a trope to bring up the double standard, but like...
Well, we were talking about gender roles.
Gender roles, yes.
I said that gender roles is an okay word because I think to me the definition like kind of involves duty.
Yes.
Because you are playing a role in a relationship that has some form of sacrifice and duty to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I thought gender roles is a good word, but I don't know if it is. I mean, it seems to trigger a lot of people. Some people seem to think that it comes with like a list of laws that you must follow or something. I don't think it does. I think it's more like, you know, between two people, and it's not even necessarily like in a intimate relationship. I think that almost all interactions with people that end up being some form of relationship involves some form of sacrifice and duty.
Yeah, and it's not about making it something, I don't know, transactional, because I think that's what people think it means. Yeah. So Megyn Kelly responded. She basically kind of quote treated him when Matt Walsh said, "Why should the man play the traditionally masculine role of paying for the meals if the woman is not going to play the traditionally feminine role in return?" And Megyn Kelly, who guys, you know, she used to work at Fox, she says it's not about role playing. It's about who you are and what attracts you. The message that in order to get a man who wants to take care of you, you have to be a trad wife is not true. Some guys want the fire and excitement of a working wife. Trust me, we bring plenty to the table. Tommy Lauren says, some men are intimidated by ambitious women and would prefer we sit home and be domestic. Others are able to handle a strong woman and have enough masculine energy to deal. Sadly, many modern men are wimps and insecure. It's a shame. Glad to be out of the game. Remember when Tommy Lauren was complaining about men not stepping up and dating her?
Yeah. This is a PSA for all the men out there and all the boys who think they're men, but they're actually boys. This is going to be the summer of canceling boys. All of my friends are attractive. All of my friends are successful. Almost every single one of them have an issue with men. If all of these women, including myself, are having issues, then I have to think it might not be us. It might be men. It is not just the guys in Los Angeles, Nashville, Dallas. Quite frankly, I think they're trash all over this country. I am tired of dealing with trash men. If you want to mix in people like me and people like my friends who are go-getters, please don't mix us in with the Tatianas. If we find out that you are also talking to 5 Tatianas who have nothing going on, Houston, we have a problem. It will be a cold day in hell when I chase a man. Not one single man on planet Earth is worth making any woman feel like she is not good enough.
She did finally find somebody that was willing to put up with her, but yeah, so I thought it was really fascinating because Megyn Kelly and Tommy Lauren are supposedly conservatives. I mean, I don't believe that there are very many truly conservative women, especially in the kind of, this media sphere, because a lot of them are kind of they're basically second wave feminists. I mean,
I guess as far as Megyn Kelly and Tommy Lauren go, they're pretty much like a distraction.
Are they?
I don't think they have anything of substance to say. They're just my ego, though.
Oh, I know, right? It's funny because Matt Walsh makes this statement about a video involving another woman completely, and Megyn Kelly she just feels like it's about her. She has to step in and be like, wait a minute, I have a job. It's
I did see some other criticism of Matt Walsh's tweet that was a bit better.
I don't normally like Zuby, but he did say something pretty on point here. He said the vast majority of Westerners have imbued a heavy amount of feminist thinking. It's the default culture, even in the conservative world. And he puts conservative in quotes. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Most of us are feminists. That. It's not a left-right thing, really. It's just we care about women. We're going to put them first. And it's just a matter of how much. And it will be to our own self-destruction. I mean, I think Matt Walsh, I'm going to go to his page here. He's basically been fighting with people the whole time. Here's one. He retweeted. So he's responding to this. Ladies, this video Matt Walsh made called Ladies, You Can't Have Chivalry and Feminism. Pick one, which is kind of obvious. And this guy named Peter Schorsch, blue check mark, Says, P.S. This is complete horseshit. I engage in countless chivalrous acts without hesitation, while my wife is about as strong as a woman as I know. She literally has a keychain that says, fuck the patriarchy, but I always take out the garbage. Wait, what? Is that an own? And Matt says, the fact that your wife has a fuck the patriarchy keychain and that you are not embarrassed by this fact tells me everything I need to know about you. And I do whatever my wife says. And I'm not ashamed. Regina Barkley responds to Matt when somebody says how grimly transactional. What was he gonna say?
I got a funny reaction to it.
Okay.
Kaylee Triller says, play her role. Feel free to elaborate on exactly what you mean by this. You're reckless with your platform and your influence, often at the expense of women. Don't pretend like you don't know exactly what I'm talking about. Somebody replied, you have a job as a wife. I know, responsibility to someone outside herself is a hard concept to process for you. Kaylee replied, you're an idiot.
Got him. And Matt, so somebody calls this whole thing about like, you know, men and women having like a bit of a, I don't know, like it's a cooperative relationship. There's a give and take. And this person said how grimly transactional. And Matt says it's not transactional, it's relational. In a relationship, there are duties on both sides. If you say that the man should have the duty of paying for everything, but the woman should have no duties at all, then you simply don't understand how functional relationships work. And that's, well, I mean, that's what you were saying, right? Mm-hmm. And people keep, you know, I don't, maybe this is the reason why so many people are dysfunctional in their, not just romantic relationships, but relationships in general. It gets boiled down to something transactional that's just about like, how do I benefit? And there's no idea that like that you could sacrifice, or you'd be willing to sacrifice time or resources or effort into someone, and then that person would also sacrifice time, resources, and effort into you. And this is not just for like women, this is for your friends. Like, I mean, if you have real life friends, like you go to the bar with them, maybe you buy a round of drinks, maybe they buy a round of drinks, or you have them over your house and they buy the pizza or whatever. Like I wouldn't even call it a sacrifice, although that you could use that word, but it is a relational thing. It's like, maybe too many people have lost that. Maybe perpetually like online people, you know, don't know how these kinds of relationships work. And I think Matt is he's spot on with that. I mean, he's spot on. It's a relational thing. It's not about like the women giving, like no one should be keeping score on who's giving and who's taking, right? I mean, you know, it can be exploitative, but you just have to be discerning. But the relationship is more important. Regina Barkley responded to Matt and says, Matt, relationships are not duties except in the workplace. Familial relationships are not duty bound. They're love bound. Your view is entirely transactional, functional, and use based. Do you agree with that?
Of course, it's like there's duties. Like I think that like loving somebody is being dutiful to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like can you imagine loving your kids but not feeling like you have any duty towards their care?
Right. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. If you care for someone, it's going to come organically. It's going to come naturally, right? I mean, it's really not that hard, but I don't know.
I just want to keep saying duty.
You have a duty to perform.
Yeah, so a lot of anger woman moment. Men are so one-dimensional. Who is this angry woman?
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of angry women, right? I know. This is when the truth comes out. When you see like how women like react when they feel slighted. It's funny that Matt can make a comment about a specific woman and a bunch of other women presume that it must be about them too. And they have to come in and even like supposedly really like smart women like Megyn Kelly and Tommy Lauren. Tommy Lauren is like, she's not getting any engagement on these posts either. It's extra funny.
This is in response to Matt Walsh saying, why should the man play the traditional masculine role of paying for the meals if the woman is not going to play the traditional feminine role in return? And this is a Philosophicat.
Oh, Philosophicat.
Philosophicat.
Yeah. I think I've had her on my show once, actually.
She says, I don't think she's in full agreement. She says the correct answer to this question is, if your masculinity is actually a genuine part of you and not just something you socially LARP at, then you behaving in a masculine way is not dependent on how other people act. It's simply what you are at your core. If you're not willing to be masculine unless a woman meets your personal standards of femininity, then you're not actually masculine at all. It's just transactional costume you wear, and you're not really that different from a tranny. She said this applies in reverse too, by the way. There's no shortage of women who LARP at femininity, believing that this is what they need to do to attract a man, but do not genuinely possess a feminine nature. The fact is, modern people are increasingly lost. LARPing is sometimes okay as a stepping stone if it is leading people in the right direction to help them develop their authentic masculinity and feminine qualities, but far too many people confuse a stepping stone with the stopping point, neither healthy nor conducive to happiness or spiritual growth. Now, I do agree with her, but I think she's missing the point of what Matt Walsh is saying. It's not about being perceived as masculine. It's commenting on the duties that men and women have to each other in a relationship.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I guess it's kind of like, it's like saying something on the side.
I think too many people are concerned with whether or not a man or a woman is being masculine or feminine or performing masculinity or femininity. I think that most people are just themselves. And usually that's going to generally fall into men are generally going to fall in the masculine category and women are generally going to fall in the feminine category. And there shouldn't be any shame around that. I think that women, and there's a lot of social pressure to make men more like women and make women more like men, but I don't think it takes for most people. That woman in the video that we watched, she acts, if you look at her mannerisms, she acts kind of boyish, right?
Yeah.
She does the Justin Bieber rap hands and the way that she talks and her head swivels. But then a man comes and acts like a man around her because he's pretty much, maybe it's just the way he was raised or whatever, and she suddenly, just melts, she just becomes a woman around him. Because I think that what she was doing may not have been completely natural, and I can't speak for the guy, but there are posers. There are men who pose, pretend to be more macho than they really are, and there are women who maybe LARP as being feminine. But I think generally people are just behaving naturally, and I think that there's too many people trying to analyze other people's behavior and then putting it in a box and then trying to tell the people oh, well, you're acting like this or you're acting like that. It's they're just who they are, I think. And I agree with you when you say, like I said before, a positive relationship with another person, it the desire to do your part, it just comes natural. I think Matt is warning against women who want to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what Kelly got offended because
this is so weak too, right? She's just happy because a man paid for her meal. It doesn't mean anything.
No, but I mean it does to her because she's like, holy shit, I can have dates like this, right?
Yeah.
And I mean,
Well, and she did say it brought out some feral feminine instinct in her.
Exactly. And I think that there is basically someone's natural uncontrolled reaction to something is something like a man being himself around her. I think that it has it's basically speaking a truth that we are all not supposed to talk about when it comes to women. And I hope, Matt's right, I hope that she does her part, because some people in my comments were saying, that guy's paying for dates, he's a simp, and it's well, but he chose to do that. At the end of the day, it's his choice, and it may pay off and it may not, but we don't know. It doesn't really matter. I think that
the bigger thing about this is the double standard that if you have any expectation on women, people go wild. But men are supposed to behave a certain way, and you see it in Tommy Lawrence and you see it like she's like shitting on men. Like
there's like insecure men.
There's like these expectations that men should be traditionally masculine.
Mm-hmm. And then she even went. I'm going to make a video about this, and she went online and made a video about it. Mm-hmm. So she obviously felt a certain way. But anyway, yeah, that's it. I just wanted to make those comments and get your feedback. I guess we'll just end it here.